What's up, guys? Rob from Brandon's Gaming here, bringing you another Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 video. Standard disclaimer, still dying of allergies, sound like shit, might cough, might clear my throat, the whole nine. You know it by now. Basically, that's part of the channel intro at this point. But we got more important things to do. We got a Gerald spotlight to take a look at. And he's been making some waves in, the NASB Discord, as well as with some people on Twitter. Seems like people really like him, and I thought he looked pretty sweet from his teaser trailer. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what the coolest kid on the block is bringing to the table.
The coolest kid on the block, Gerald from Hey Arnold, makes his debut in Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2.
Blackamar.
Gerald's a tricky mid-range zoner that isn't afraid to get up close and personal. This sports fan excels at locking opponents down with a wide range of projectile options before getting in and balling on his opponents with his flashy combos. While his movement speed normally isn't the best in the air or on the ground, he still has plenty of options to work his way into his ideal range where he's most powerful. Gerald can keep the pressure on his opponents with one of the widest array of special move options in the game.
Like he's got a ton
Starting
of
with
stuff.
his down special, Gerald pulls up a menu that lets you pick from a handful of different items for different situations.
A menu?
Shoot some free throws with the basketball. Send your opponent's head spinning with the frisbee. Give them a taste of their own medicine by reflecting the projectiles with a ping pong paddle. Or dig into his backup reserve of wacko watches for a nasty surprise. Gerald only gets a limited number of these watches per stock, but they're long range, fast, and very strong.
Okay, so kind of like a
Pac-Man
Pac-Man key.
Don't forget about slime specials. If you hit the slime button before pressing down special, Gerald will lob out a boombox that does some major knockback. For his neutral special, Gerald rears up a baseball pitch that throws harder the longer he spins his arm. The windup can be cancelled with the block button to store the charge, and the slime version of this attack is always thrown at full speed.
Okay.
Now if your arm is getting tired from all that winding, tossing, and swinging, mix up your movement as well by hopping on Gerald's skateboard with the side special. Pressing the special button will give a different attack depending on what direction is being held in the control stick. Up knocks enemies into the air above him. Neutral pops Gerald himself into the air for follow-up if the board hits the opponent. Horizontal has high knockback, and down does a spin out, allowing for some solid block pressure. With slime, Gerald quickly dashes forward while doing the spin out. Gerald can jump around on the skateboard and even cancel into one of his aerials for a quick approach. Keep in mind though, besides his sweet tricks, Gerald's options are limited on the skateboard. He can't block, roll, use any of his regular special attacks, or even his grounded attacks, so be careful,
that's not bad,
especially without a helmet. Finally, Gerald's up special is a super high leap into the air that ends with a slam dunk. Using slime simply carries Gerald and any enemies who get caught in the move higher into the sky. This move is a great way to finish out or even extend combos with a slime cancel followed by a drag down with his light up air. If you like clever projectile play or just want to dunk on your opponent, then Gerald is your guy. Thanks for watching, and look out for more character spotlights coming soon.
Let's go Blackamar. I'm sorry. Nice to hear him on the mic doing the spotlight. I believe he said on Twitter that this is his main, so yeah. Lot of tricks in the bag for Gerald. Let's go through this again.
The coolest kid on the block, Gerald from Hey Arnold, makes his debut in Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2.
I mean, you talk about options, dude.
Mid-range zoner that isn't afraid to get up close and personal. This sports fan excels at locking opponents down with a wide range of projectile
Kind of interesting. It's a frisbee. Kind of acts more like a
on its opponents with his flashy combos. While his movement speed normally isn't the best in the air or on the ground, he still has plenty of options to work his way into his ideal range where he's most powerful. Gerald can keep the pressure on his opponents with one of the widest array of special move options in the game. Starting with his down special, Gerald pulls up a menu that lets you pick.
Yeah, this looks like, again, you talk about options. I mean,
handful of different items for different situations. Shoot some free throws with the basketball.
Basketball looks like a bouncing type of projectile, so you can throw that out for like shield pressure, throw that out in neutral, kind of approach with the bounce, force your opponent to either take the hit on a bounce or go into shield or roll or something, so you can get like a grab or like a roll read or something like that.
Send your opponent's head spinning.
Again, tricky stuff with the frisbee, although it kind of seems to me to be more like a boomerang, but kind of fast, so like maybe used for mix-ups and stuff. It doesn't look like it'll be the best at shield pressure because it looks like it's really fast on the bounce back. So a mix-up option.
By reflecting the projectiles of the ping
So Jenny has her rocket. Good to know.
pong paddle. Or dig into his backup reserve of wacko watches for a nasty surprise.
Kind of seems like his finisher. You know, kind of like a
Gerald gets a
Pac-Man
limited
key.
number of these watches per stock, but they're long range, fast, and very strong.
Yeah, Pac-Man key type
We
thing.
were done, don't forget about slime specials. If you hit the slime button before pressing down special, Gerald will lob out a boombox that does some major knockback. For his neutral
That's an
special,
interesting
Gerald
projectile.
rears up a baseball
This also seems really, really cool. The fact that you can cancel this
pitch that throws harder the
into
longer
storing
he
it.
spins his arm. The windup can be canceled with the block button to store the charge.
Yep.
And the slime version of this attack is always thrown at full speed.
So always good to have like a charged projectile in your back pocket along with your other projectiles. You know, probably just charge that up, go in, fight in neutral and stuff like that. Just having that option at all times pretty much to kind of pull out for some surprises, some tricks, a combo extender, that type of thing. Yeah, really good projectile since you can store it. You don't have to throw it. Storing projectiles is always very good.
Now, if your arm is getting tired from all that winding, tossing, and swinging, mix up your movement as well by hopping on Joe's
this kind
skateboard
of
with
seems
the side special.
very interesting. I trust that proper testing and stuff has been done on this because it kind of seems like if not, it might be a little bit abusable, but it also, based on what Blackmar says at the end, doesn't seem that crazy.
Special button will give a different attack depending on what direction is being held in the control stick. Up knocks
Yeah,
enemies
so the fact that it doesn't have a hitbox means it's punishable, right? Which is big. It's really important that you don't just have this movement option that's just like not even punishable, like Michelangelo's turtle spin in NASB 1, where it's just like, aha, I have a hitbox. What are you gonna do? Oops, sorry about that, folks. That was my computer, not yours. But yeah, it's important for it to be punishable so that, you know, it's not abusable. But by the same token, it does look like a really good movement option.
Neutral pops
along
Gerald
with
himself into the air for follow-up if the board hits the opponent.
Yeah, it seems like the trickery of the different attacks is going to be really good.
Spin out, allowing for some solid block pressure. With slime, Gerald quick.
This one to me seems like the best.
Horizontal has high knockback, and down does a spin out, allowing for some solid.
Because like you can just do this and then skateboard away. You'd be like, oh, poke your shield and then just leave.
With slime, Gerald quickly dashes forward while doing the spin out. Gerald can jump around.
Nice alternate costume. Looks like we got a crown and his necklace.
Cancel into one of his aerials for a quick approach. Keep in mind, Gerald can jump around.
So it's kind of interesting because like.
Skateboard, even cancel into one of his aerials for a quick approach.
Yeah, so you can jump cancel it.
Aerials for a quick approach. Keep in mind though, besides his sweet tricks, Gerald's options are limited on the skateboard. He can't block, roll, use any of his regular special attacks, or even his grounded attacks. So be careful, especially without a helmet. Finally, Gerald's up special is a super high leap into the air.
This seems like a pretty solid move. You know, scoops off the ground.
Gerald.
It looks pretty fast too, so this might be like an out of shield option for him.
Helmet.
Let's see.
Finally, Gerald's up.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frame up B. Add a shield.
The special was a super high leap into the.
Yeah, that seems like it might be a good add a shield option. A frame 4 up special.
Using slime simply carries Gerald and any enemies who get caught in the move higher into the sky. This move is a great
Game
way
and
to
watch.
Out,
Yeah, exactly. Add a shield up B right there.
To the sky. This move is a
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, look at that.
It's a great way to finish out or even extend.
Yeah. Don't touch Gerald's shield, bro. I will up B right away. I am Game and Watch.
If you like clever projectiles.
So it seems like his normals are just kind of okay.
Sweet tricks,
like
Gerald's options are limited on the skateboard. Keep in mind though.
Like it looks like his normals are kind of stubby. That looks like it's pretty good. That might be a disjoint. Drag down. Up tilt. I don't know what the hell this is. A nair probably? Yeah, it looks like a nair. That move actually seems really good.
He can't block, roll,
So it seems like
use any
his
of regular
moves are
special attacks, or
generally
even his
pretty stubby, but with the plethora of projectiles at his disposal, I mean, does that really matter? So overall aesthetics, I like the design of Gerald. I think they did him justice by translating him into the game. Pros, I mean, you talk about having a quite literal bag of tricks for him to dip into at any given point.
his grounded attacks. So be careful.
Yeah, quite literally a bag of tricks that he can go into. Projectiles galore, as well as what looks to be a pretty good out of shield option in his up special, a frame 4 up special out of shield. That is a scoop that drags you upward. That seems pretty good. Skateboard canceling seems like it's probably going to be really, really effective because you can cancel into your aerials, and that nair looked pretty good actually. So skateboard jump cancel nair, skateboard down, skateboard spin out on shield looks like it might be a good shield option for shield pressure, because it seems like you can kind of just go away after. Negatives I'm seeing with the character, it seems like he might be a little bit stubby, like his normal, so you might be struggling a little bit to get hits in neutral that aren't overly reliant on your projectiles. They didn't show too much of his normals in here, so it's kind of hard to say if he has bad disadvantage. Because usually characters that have bad disadvantage are characters that have like stubby moves that don't have like great disjoints. So it's kind of harder for them to get at a disadvantage. So he might have bad disadvantage. It's kind of hard to say. They didn't really show too much of his normals. A lot of this was focused on his specials, which makes sense because his specials seem to be the primary focus of the character. But I mean, other than that, I'm not seeing too many weaknesses. Other than that, maybe he lacks a bit of range. So yeah, overall, looks like a pretty strong character. Looks like a pretty fun character. We're gonna bring the tier list in here. I'm gonna put Gerald in top tier for now. I'm not seeing a ton of weakness with the character, and I like the fact that he has just so many options at his disposal. I think options in platform fighters are one of the most important things to have in a character, just being able to adapt to whatever situation your opponent is throwing at you. Yeah, he seems like he's going to be a nightmare for super heavies and big characters. Seems like he's going to be a nightmare for characters that don't have much of a way to handle projectile pressure neutral. It seems like you can kind of wall out with him a little bit with his down special. You just throw out a basketball, throw out a baseball or a frisbee or whatever you want, kind of just wall your opponent out. It seems like Gerald can really adapt and play to whatever kind of strengths he needs to for his matchups. It's like if he's playing an opponent that he needs to wall out, it seems like he can kind of do that. If he's playing an opponent that he needs to rush down, it seems like he can do that. And I'm not seeing a ton of weakness in either facet of his game. So I think Gerald looks pretty good. I think he looks pretty good. Looks like a pretty interesting character. Honestly, a character I might try. He kind of seems like my kind of character, that projectile-based character, but not a true zoner, and he goes in and actually, fights with his opponent and not just hide behind a wall of projectiles. So yeah, I'm liking Gerald a lot. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think he looks pretty strong. Good job by the team to design this character. He seems really, really cool. Seems really, really fun. Loki seems like he might be a little bit of a pain in the ass to fight against with some of his like skateboard canceling and projectile stuff, but that remains to be seen. So we'll see. But I want to thank you guys for watching. I will be back with you again whenever the next spotlight is dropped. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys again next time.